presentation?
Yeah, I think he's, yeah, I'll get him.
The sun comes up this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
I got here early to wait for minutes.
They wanted me to start, so.
Brace told me he was going to do the presentation.
Brace is coming, right? He's on the phone. Check.
Whenever you want to start.
Who's Brace?
Hi, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Ed Winkworth. I'm the president of the Granby Clean Water Association, and we appreciate the board giving us an opportunity to have a little gathering with you. As you know, we're a little over a year old, and our purpose is to rid the Oswego River, especially in the town of Granby, because we call ourselves the Granby Clean Water Association, of the infestation of the weed problem. We have what we feel is a very strong group. I want to thank our members for showing up tonight as a support of our organization. We do have a barbecue this Sunday, and I want to publicly thank one of your board members for personally taking about 250 to 300 flyers around the community this morning for us. Rose Anthony with one of our members, David Rao, and we are a group that is here to support this mechanism through raising funds by ourselves, raising our own shirt sleeves, and matching funds that are coming from the Finger Lakes District. I don't want to take a lot of time away because we don't have much time here, so we have two of our political liaison people who we have appointed through our group, and one is Brace Talents, and the other is Tom Popovich, and Brace and Tom are going to give some presentations to you tonight to give you a little idea what we're about, what we're trying to get going here. Thanks.
All right, I thank you for the time, and I'm Brace Talents with the Granby Clean Water Association, and I want to read a little bit of our mission statement. And the Granby Clean Water Association promotes restoration of local waterways by removal of control of invasive vegetation. And a little of our background in this is that the river, Ox Creek, the other tributaries, Tenery Creek, which is also now infested with these weeds, is all part of the recreation system of the canal is supporting and throwing tons of money into. What we're trying to do is open these waterways up to the public, not just for the residents there, but for everybody's use. Out of the things that you want to take into consideration, that all lakes, rivers, ponds, streams are community assets. They bring money and people and jobs to the county. Since construction is at a flat here, tourism is the Oswego County's biggest industry right now, fastest growing in employment numbers. A couple of things I'd like to bring up is what we're looking for is we're looking for endorsement by the local government in our help to search for funding. We're looking hopefully to get the town council to pass a resolution of support. We're looking for participation in some sort of committee with the town. We also are looking forward to expanding. Our expansion will include everything north of us right now, which is also Minetto has a weed problem, and it is moving north. They are in Oswego Harbor, and it will only get worse unless something is done. And within the scope of what we want to do, I should bring up that last year, for the first time in about 4 years, they did do a harvesting. And if anybody's noticed that in the Ox Creek area, around Battle Island, the Hickory Grove area, there's been a marked improvement from one harvesting. So the waterways are considerably more open than they were before. The channels are open from what they did. this is a foreseeable goal to all but eradicate them. Last year, the group did raise, if I can get the right paper up, a considerable amount of money towards this on our own by way of fundraising drives. And Tom Popovich has gone to industry and business to get donations. We raised about $2,300 towards the harvesting of this, and they did do a good job. To bring up a thing, more than 3/4 of all the weeds harvested by the county, in the county, was taken out of Ox Creek in the area around Battle Island and Hickory Grove. That's 3/4 of all weeds, including Oswego Harbor, which is done on a constant basis. At this point, how the town would like to proceed with this, with the committee, I'll leave that completely up to you. I'm at your disposal for that. One of the things we could also look at within something like that is public access. That the town could have a small public boat launch, small park, something on the waterways that will help in securing funds for maintenance of the waterways, usable waterways for the town. There is lots of money available, but you need a plan. You need something to put out there to tell the county, to tell the state that we have a plan for the canal and all the tributaries leading to it. This is what we'd like to do, whatever that may be. And if I will pass it along a little bit, I think I've said about as much as I can really get out here without getting into severe detail. I thank you for your time and your patience, and I'd like to have Tom come up and talk a little bit about the efforts that he's done last year, especially with his fundraising. Thank you.
Thanks, Bryce. As Bryce mentioned, my name is Tom Popovich. I'm rather new to the area, and never saw so many weeds in all my life. Last year, as Bryce, being new to the area, I found myself approaching people all the way down into Baldwinsville, people that have nothing to do with this area, feeling, these are like more personal friends, banks, Seneca Bank, what have you. And through our efforts, through the Clearwater, we've had the opportunity to dissect as much as we are able to do so. And some of the little notes here that I just sort of wanted to cover to make sure that the board here understands where the people are coming from. There's a lot of people doing a lot of efforts to make things happen, myself included. We all work full-time jobs, raise kids. Some have waterfront, some don't. But yet, nevertheless, there's people out there making efforts. I think ultimately what we want is really we want your support to do what you guys can, to let us be heard. I think we all can win-win on this situation. Property values, waterfront property values, as far as I know them, are supposed to be going up, or else at least stabilize. I think those that are on the water right now are just absolutely losing money with the atrocities that are growing out in front of their homes. Another thing I wanted to comment on, which I had a lot of trouble understanding, the taxpayers' money are already paying for this harvester to bring in. And I think your voice could possibly be heard more of getting this thing down more on a more widespread area as opposed to us being limited to acreage. The taxpayers are already paying for this thing, and now we have to pay for it again. We're leaving money on the table to boot. The funds that are available, that are made available to us, we left $2,300 because our efforts fell short. I think it was last year, Paul, what was it, $2,300 we raised? Yeah. So we raised $2,300 last year, and we only got another $2,300, in the grant money. We left another $2,300 on the table, which is carried into this year. But chicken barbecues and whatever we can accomplish are, very minimized. I think if the board would make it more of a discussion, I think we could all win-win. I wouldn't be opposed to paying more taxes myself if we had, better waterfronts and better recreations. I think the Ox Creek area there has so much potential. I mean, I do a lot of playing in real estate. I think it has so much potential for recreation in drawing the outside in and let other people know what Granby and who Granby is. In the last month, I think all of us watched headline news, CNN, fires in Florida, mudslides in California, tornado disasters in the Midwest. The local governments, the local people, everybody pitches in. I would consider this very much a local disaster. If we don't nip it in the butt right now, everybody will have more weeds than what they know what to do with. So, bottom line, I think we all could win if we all got our heads together and worked in the same direction. That's really all I have to say, but thanks for listening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to speak to this?
Well, I'll Paul Mail, I'm secretary of the
Paul,
organization.
Paul, I can only give you 5 minutes because then we have to convene our regular meeting.
Sure. Well, I would just, try to connect two of the things that were said. Tom just mentioned
Ox Creek, which of course is probably the origin of the problem, which has spread from there down the river. Ox Creek at one time was regarded very highly as a bass fishing ground. It was, I think, listed by the Bass Federation as a bass fishing ground. Of course, that has been dropped because you can't get into Ox Creek now to fish. And that's related also to the suggestion that Brace raised, I think, at the boat launching site. If we could have a site on Ox Creek, it would be an incentive to clean it up and make another, return it again to a prime fishing ground, which of course would help all of the local establishments in that area. That, Mr. Mike's is right on the creek there, and Thunder Island goes down to the creek. And so Granby has a real investment commercially in that area. So I think that the opening up of Ox Creek is not a matter of doing favors for the people who live on Ox Creek. I think Ox Creek could be a genuine resource for the whole town of Granby, not only as an amenity for our recreation, but in terms of increasing our tourism potential. We have done nothing in this town to entitle us to any share in the Thruway Fund. Everybody else is getting a share of it, but we're left out because we don't own anything on the river. The town has no facilities. So I would really encourage you to think seriously about the possibility of having more vision and looking at this as a positive way, not just as sort of a negative way of trying to cope with a problem that's very discouraging, but as a positive way of turning a liability into a real resource for the town. Thank you.
Could I say one thing? Mr. Best, you're in the audience. Jim, are you here?
Yeah, he's back there against the wall.
Jim, you know that piece of property that we discussed on buying at Pendergast Road? Down there, you said it was available to the town to buy and do something with it? Is that still available?
Well, you're talking about the property owned by the Thruway, the Barge Canal. That's
It
available.
says that the town could get it and do something with it?
You'd have to make an application with some plan for it. That's up on, that's about 14 acres.
And that's right near Hemmingville Bridge, right?
South of it.
Half a mile.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yes.
Maybe this board could look into that yet and see if we can get it, develop it into something for what these people want.
Hey, Bryce, one fast question here. There was a mention that this was a local disaster. It's really not a local disaster, but are there any of the other surrounding towns and villages that have organized committees, groups, associations that are combating this problem also?
I can speak to that if you want me to, Brad.
I met with Senator Wright last year down in Albany, and at the very day that I went there, he'd had a confrontation, so to speak, with situations with people in Central Square and Big Bend, because there was a misunderstanding of the Finger Lakes funds. And they had gotten Assemblyman Bragman involved in the thing. And what the situation was the Big Bend people got very upset with the Senate and the Assembly because they found out that they had to go through matching funds. And in our situation, we just rolled up our sleeves, as I mentioned earlier, and went after and got the funds. So we feel that we're very unique in that sense, that we are not looking initially when we started for a handout from government. We are willing to participate. We're demonstrating that here tonight. We've demonstrated that for a year. And so no, to best of our knowledge, basically even in the state, maybe even nationally, we're unique in the situation that we are willing to participate to get the thing started off the ground, but we just can't do it for the rest of our lives. We're demonstrating our interest in community service, so to speak, and I hope that answers your question in terms of what we're trying to do with it, and how it's happening in other communities and how they're dealing with it as opposed to how we're dealing with it here in Granby. And like Brace did say, it is our goal to expand past Granby through the whole county once we feel that we're comfortable with our organization to expand on it.
To add to that, I have spoken to some people in Minetto that are involved in the reconstruction of their area down there. Minetto has several areas that are also extremely infested, and they are interested in either forming or joining the group to do something with it. The areas where it's severely infested, you can see right from 48 as you pass by. They're into other things right now, but this is part of the plan. They do wish to clean up their riverfront.
Okay.
And seeing as, I guess our time is up, so all I want to do at this point is mention that
We have a lady with her hand up back there.
I just have a question. I wish that somebody could explain to me so that I understand it and so that it makes sense. Why does the county own a piece of equipment, the harvester that they own, and why is it not operating? I mean, why do we have to go through all this to make that machine get out and do what it was purchased to do? I just don't understand the concept.
Well,
Can someone?
no, we can't answer that for you here because that's operated by the county. It was funded through county tax dollars. The county is utilizing Finger Lakes money to front half of the cost of doing the operating, quote unquote, to do the harvesting, okay? That is not at all at a local level. I wish it were, believe me. I think the last time I met with you folks, I expressed my concerns to the county legislators who were here, Mr. Boynton and Mr. Sorbello. I don't know what they have done to help you out, other than go to your meetings. That ball is in their court. I will send a letter to the county. I will send a letter to the county expressing my concerns with that and the concerns of this group as presented tonight. What can I do about it? Probably nothing. But they will know our feelings. Believe me, I'm on your side.
Legislature?
I don't agree that you have to come up with the other 50%. If there's money there to be used to do the harvesting, it should be done, okay? It's state tax dollars. You paid your state income tax. It's money coming back through the system to help correct a problem out there. And now you gotta cough up another 50%. I don't think it's right. That's my personal feeling, my political feeling, right, wrong, or indifferent, okay? I think you folks have made a great effort. I applaud you for it. I cannot do anything for you money-wise right here at the local level without setting up some sort of a district. I'll support your fundraisers. We'll put a resolution to the board to support your organization and what you're trying to accomplish. You know, I admire all your efforts. And I will support you, and I will urge this board to support you. And I will even write to Senator Jim Wright and Fran Sullivan trying to get this thing so that there's $10,000 coming through the system. You shouldn't have to match it with another 10 to get the harvesting done. Okay? That is my position, and I will stick to that position.
Okay, I think our time has run up, so.
Time is up, we have to convene a regular meeting. You folks are welcome to, your folks are welcome to stay. If you want to continue on with the discussion, we'll have an open floor session, and you can do so, but at 7:30, I'm supposed to convene a meeting, and I would hope you would respect that time frame.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are we online, Ruth?
You get the highlighted time. Okay.
I'm the one that advised you.
Okay.
I don't think I
Put the flyers. I got a flyer in the mailbox. Oh, no.
Okay, folks, I'd like to call this meeting to order on July 8, 1998, the regular meeting of the Granby Town Board. Please join us in saluting the flag, if you would. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd ask now that the clerk take the roll call.
Supervisor Keeney?
Present.
Councilor Anthony?
Here.
Councilor Greco?
Here.
Councilor Haggerty?
Here.
Councilor Polowitz?
Here.
Highway Superintendent Moyer? Budget Director Lyman?
Moya's around someplace.
Yeah.
Mr. Lyman, you're here.
Yeah, oh, here.
Excuse me, sir. I'd like a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meetings and to accept them as written for June 10th, 1998, June 24th, 1998, and July 1st, 1998.
I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion or concerns with the meeting minutes? Okay.
I
Motion.
abstain. I'm abstaining from accepting the minutes.
Okay, I guess we need a roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilor Anthony?
I abstain.
Councilor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Keeney?
Yes.
Councilor Haggerty?
Yes.
Councilor Polowitz?
Yes.
Okay, the motion is carried. Communications and announcements. Mr. Holt rescinded his resignation. There was a technicality, and to ensure that the tax rolls were properly accepted by the county as submitted, he rescinded his resignation, and he has subsequently resigned. I have a letter on file dated July 2nd, 1998, which has been received and accepted by the town clerk. I have a letter from County Attorney, Oswego County Comprehensive Plan and Questionnaire from Mr. Bruce Clark. Oswego County Legislature has adopted the Oswego County Comprehensive Plan for the county, as part of which this office is lead agency, promoting cooperation among several municipalities and school districts for the utilization of public spaces and eliminating barriers to promote public use of these buildings throughout the county. In that regard, I enclose a questionnaire which I would appreciate you completing and returning to my office at the above address. Upon compilation of these surveys, we'll be in a better position to perhaps procure shared liability insurance for the several municipalities as regards to public use of those facilities. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.
Something that goes to the planning board to fill out the questionnaire or the town board?
That's basically we can fill it out.
Oh.
It's just the name. Do you presently allow public to utilize your buildings for activities, events, meetings? It's about a 5-question questionnaire. I also have a letter from Fran Sullivan. Dear Mr. Keeney, I've been informed that the town of Granby has been awarded a grant in the amount of $4,825 under the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund Act. As a grant recipient, you are well aware of these valuable state program provides funding for projects which serve to improve services to citizens, promote efficiency and economy of local governments, and identify and preserve non-governmental historical records. Competition for the grants each year is intense, making your success in obtaining one especially impressive. There were 434 grant applications requesting $9.2 million. Ultimately, 389 awards were made totaling $5.7 million. Grant money will be released as soon as the Division of Budget approves any expenditure plan for the state archives that includes the grants. You'll be receiving official notification from the State Archives and Records Administration, Sarah. But I wanted to take this opportunity to relate the good news and commend you for your successful efforts. As always, if we can be of assistance, please don't hesitate to contact us. Our grant writer is Elaine Woolridge. So a lot of that credit goes to that young lady for her efforts. Next on the agenda, just a quick note about Heritage Day. We had about 150 people turn out. It was a good time. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. There were some good photos and memorabilia from yesteryear, you might say, dating back to some of the first people who settled in this part of the country. And I'd like to again thank Ruth Sheldon, Nancy Hawthorne, and Elaine Woolridge for their efforts in putting it together, and of course our senior citizens who put on a great strawberry shortcake. Under old business, resolution to accept dedication of Germandale Drive extension. I have a resolution which has been prepared by the town attorney. I would like to read that resolution. Whereas the town of Granby has been asked to accept dedication of a proposed roadway known as Germandale Drive Extension, and whereas Germandale Drive Extension is located in the Hoffman Heights Estate, extension as shown on subdivision map dated October 6, 1997, and whereas the highway superintendent of the town of Granby has filed with the town a written recommendation that the town accepts such dedication, and whereas legal counsel for the town has certified clear title to the subject roadway, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Granby accepts dedication of Germandale Drive Extension as shown on a subdivision map dated October 6, 1997. I have a copy, I have the original of the letter from Mr. Van Moyer, the highway superintendent. I reviewed the road known as Germandale Extension has been completed pursuant to the applicable town of Granby specifications, dated July 8, 1998. So what I would like is a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll make a motion that we adopt this resolution.
Is there any second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion?
No, second.
Okay.
Discussion.
Discussion.
The highway superintendent okayed. Was this under the new specifications?
This road is under the old specifications. Yes.
Well, even though it was an extension, it didn't comply, the new ones didn't follow to.
Yeah. It was in progress prior to the adoption of the new specifications. So he was grandfathered in.
Okay.
When was that road started, Earl, if I might ask?
Past year. I don't remember the date, but it was prior to the acceptance of the new specifications.
Well, I started clearing it in April,
Okay.
March and April.
97. Yeah, okay. Okay, I have a motion, I have a second to the motion. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Turn this over to Ruth, we've got to get signatures on it. In our previous meeting, we had a discussion of a letter of intent for the Route 48 North Sewer District Extension. Legal opinion letter from the attorney. Reads, I write in response to your request for legal opinion concerning the proposal that town send a letter of intent to the Fulton School District. I understand that such letter would be advising the school district that the town intends to establish an extension of Route 48 North Sewer District and to take over ownership and control of the existing sewer line that is currently owned by the school district. Of course, there are some necessary timeframes that have to be encountered before the transfer could actually take place. However, the letter of intent would be advising the school district that the town has every present intention to pursue the matter to its appropriate end. Be advised that in my opinion that the town would incur no unnecessary liability by sending such a letter of intent. Feel free to contact me, Dennis Hawthorne, Jr.
In regards to that letter there, in the middle of Dennis's letter, it says to take over ownership and control of the existing sewer line that is currently owned by the school district. That sounds like it's the total line from the school door to the right to the road.
No, it's
that's the way I read this.
where it commences off the property of the school district, which is the Granby Elementary School.
Again, the letter reads the control of the existing sewer line that is currently owned. The way that reads to me is it's the total line.
Well, that's not what has been in discussions with the school district. They want to retain the ownership of the line from the school to the highway to 481, or Route 48, I should say. And then the town would take the remainder of that line down Route 48 and down the roadway to the waste treatment facility. That's what the discussions are currently, where they're at right now.
That's what you've been talking to the town attorney about.
That's the proposal at this time.
Well, the sentence above that, boy, said the town intends to establish an extension of the Route 48. So is that, you know what I mean?
Oh, the
I mean, they're
extension.
saying Route 48, well, we're going to, that's where the extension comes in. We're going to take over from there, right? The extension.
Well, regardless of what you're trying to read into this, the letter of intent will go before the board before it is signed and submitted to the school district. And it'll be clarified within that letter of intent the exact location of the line, where it starts and where it terminates. It'll be a property description, essentially.
So is this something we're going to vote on at a later date then? I mean, a motion on, or?
Well, I need to, you know, the board requested that the attorney provide a letter explaining a letter of intent.
Okay.
Okay? This is the letter explaining the letter of intent. And with the letter of intent being understood, we'll have it drafted. I'll bring it before the board, and the board will approve it for signature to submit it to the school system. Okay? But it essentially is a commitment. It's a commitment, yes, we're going to proceed with the expansion of the Route 48 North Sewer District. Okay? And this will be part of it. Okay, boiler inspection repair, Mr.
I didn't bring my paperwork. Well, just going to we need a motion. We're going to like to spend about $800 plus or minus, I think it was $720 plus $50 for parts. Has a boiler because it's been blowing soot. We had trouble with it all winter long. And just do the repair on it and see next year if we want to improve put a different burner on it. So it just needs everyone, I had 3 different people in, and all needs a cleaning. And only one person really, 2 people came, but only one person was very helpful. That would be the John Baker Company.
Okay. So you want a motion here to approve the John Baker Company to come in and do a inspection slash repair.
Right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we have the John Baker Company come in and do a inspection and cleaning and repair of the existing coil. The approximate cost is $700, I got my pen. $720, or no more than $800, I believe, so say $720 to $800.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. There's a second to that motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
What are you supposed to sign on here?
Under new business, there is a request for speed limit reduction on Rathburn Road. Joyce Forsyth. Good evening.
Good evening. Due to the approved subdivision that Hannibal and Granby approved of on Rathburn Road with a 60% increase in population and growing children, a speed zone should be reduced to 35 to 40 mile zone along with children at play signs. The following 50 signers are concerned about the traffic.
Okay. Would you submit that to the town clerk, please?
Any question?
What is this currently, is there a posted speed limit out there now, Joyce?
There's from Route 3, not too far down, there's like 35 mile an hour signs, but there's nothing from 85 to the curve where I live. There's nothing.
Okay. I would like the board to entertain a motion tonight to accept that petition and submit a request to the County Highway Department to study that roadway, Rathburn Road. Is there, from one point to the next, that's really a concern, like from New York State?
Right from
Route?
85 to the curve.
Okay,
But there's development going on the road in other areas.
okay. All right.
Isn't this a case where we really have no legal jurisdiction in that area, that the state is the one that...
The town cannot set the speed limits, just to let you know. We have to submit a request to the county,
I see.
who will perform a review of the roadway, make a recommendation to the state, and probably the state will come in and do some sort of an evaluation. Okay, and it may take 3 months to 6 months, maybe even a year. Okay, but we will get that in, I think, if I can get a motion past this board tonight.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. This time, I'd like to entertain a motion, have the board entertain a motion to submit the request for the speed limit reduction on Rathburn Road as presented by Joyce Forsyth, and submit that to the county for their review and evaluation.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. No one's opposed, the motion is carried. We have an assessor position vacancy from Mr. Wheeler's resignation. We have 2 candidates. We have a Mr. William Jones, and we also have a Cheryl Knight.
Cheryl Knight.
Cheryl Knight?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Excuse me.
Cheryl.
Cheryl, that's what I said. We also have a recommendation from the assessor, Sandra Wells. She's contacted both of them and talked with them, I understand.
Can we discuss this?
Sure.
I'd like to discuss it. I don't know about the rest of you. But when we got the 2 resumes, you requested that Sandra Wells go over the 2 resumes. And I says, back off. I says, why should a new assessor go over resumes that these people want to be put in office? So I thought it was forgotten what we was going to pick out. So today, Sandra Wells said this man or this person's to be in there. again, in my book, it's a sour taste. When you let a new assessor in 6 months in that office pick out who's gonna work in that office, where we should be picking out the person, not the new assessor. You're opening a can of worms for every position in this town. I just can't go for this. I've got a bitter taste about this in my mouth.
Rose, does Sandy...
Sorry, Bob.
No, she would not do the appointing. The town board does.
We're going to appoint who Sandra Weld said should be in there. Now,
No,
don't
no.
tell me, you just flashed a pink slip at me saying that.
She made a suggestion.
She made a suggestion, fine.
Well, I think at the beginning of the year, we had recommendations from the judges, we had recommendations from other people as far as who they wanted to work in their office areas as clerks, so forth.
For a 6-month, a person that's new in that office herself shouldn't even look at their resumes.
Well, last night we sat down and interviewed both of them. Excuse me, you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Last night we sat down and interviewed both people, taking Bill Jones's background in real estate and a little bit of familiarity with permits. He felt he could be help out at the present time to go out and follow up on permits and do the necessary work, at least to help through the field work where Sandy has a full-time job. And that way at night, Sandy could do her part of it. So I thought Bill would, his background would be good to do that part.
What I'm saying
It's a
is,
temporary
it
deal.
ended up where I says back off, and it ended up that way anyways.
But it's just a temporary appointment till the end of the year.
Oh,
Well, my feeling still is that I'd like to talk to Sandy in regards to what her method of approaching the mountain of work that the assessor office has before I make a decision on that.
right.
Well, if you want to table it to our next meeting, we can do that, because Sandy's away at school right now, I understand.
That's a good idea.
So every time somebody sends in a resume, you say, well, let's let that one go over, let's let that one go over, let's let that one go over. I mean, you're
Well, to elaborate on what Mr. Keeney just said,
nobody goes over the resumes except this board.
the judges made a recommendation, didn't they? Well, they wanted to take that position? I mean, it's just...
So can we hold off on this until we contact Sandy and...
Okay, I need a motion to table this decision.
I'll make a motion that we table it.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, but I got a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay, thank you. Motion to advertise second assessor vacancy to fill Mr. Holt's position.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we advertise again for the second assessor vacancy. Resignation of Mr. Holtz.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Discussion about head assessor.
Let's see, because there is only one assessor in the office at this time, the need for a head assessor, I don't think it's warranted.
Well, it seems we're having a discussion, don't we need somebody like a head assessor to sign papers, official? Can a regular assessor just do that? I don't know, but I'm asking you because you were in there at one time.
Well, you should be certified too. And Sandy isn't certified yet. But again, if you only have one person in the office, she's the contact person, she's the floor sweeper and everything else. And until there's more than one in the office, I don't feel that there should be a designation of a head assessor.
Is that because she's not fully qualified yet? That would be the main reason, or?
I just said there's only one person in the office.
Why we gotta pay her more money and be being the head assessor and being her own boss and herself, and it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make
I
sense.
don't think she cares about the money, it's definitely.
Oh,
Any further discussion? We'll go on to the next topic, I guess. Sole assessor, Mr. Hastings has contacted me and said he would like to discuss with the board whenever they're available some of the pros and cons of sole assessor versus the elected positions. So folks think of a good day, probably the first part of August, to get with him.
I want to set something up now, the August the 4th, the 5th. Give her a couple of days, maybe we got
We could have him at our prep meeting, which is on the 5th,
okay.
or the regular meeting, which is going to be on the 12th.
Let's go with August.
Why not approach that sometime in July here? We still have 3 weeks ahead of us.
He's going to be on vacation, I think for 2 weeks. I think that's what he indicated to me.
That's what you said before, I think, as I mentioned, the last week of July, and you said he was busy. Today is the 8th. So you want to go with August the 5th?
Good. It's good with me.
Yep. Okay.
August the 5th, we'll set it up.
7?
August the 5th.
7 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, 7 o'clock. How long we have preparatory meeting? We have him on first.
Okay, computer installation. Ruth, you got a new computer, I understand.
I don't have one.
Oh.
I'm asking about getting.
Okay.
I have an equipment line in the budget for $1,600. And I have a proposal here for a new computer because my old one is getting very filled up and is running out of space.
Okay.
That's the reason for the need of a new one. A new one, I could read you all this. I don't know that too many people will understand what it is. I don't know if I understand it all, but it's an Intel Pentium P200 MMX 512K cache mini tower IDE controller. And then there's quite a bit that goes along with it. Microsoft.
I'm impressed.
Microsoft Windows 95, operating system, 3-year warranty, 1 year on-site by Acer, 2-year at their depot. That's $990. And then Acer 2-year warranty, 15-inch SVGA color monitor. iOmega zip drive, 100 MB capacity, it's 115. Zip disk cartridges at 54. And 3 hours of on-site delivery, system setup, software transfer, initial training, and other on-site services of $165, making a total of $1,544, which would be within my $1,600 limit.
The only question I have is, you were mentioning your other one's getting loaded up. Is that going to have enough? I believe it's RAM. Is that going to have enough RAM so it won't get
The new one would have a great deal more space.
enough so it'll last several years?
Oh, yeah.
And now, I forget, I know it's a Pendulum, that's a good brand name, a good player, but I meant, how about the speed? Is that 233 megahertz or better, or? Because they're running 233s and 266s right now is the big, doesn't say on it, does it?
2.1 gig of hard drive. Does that mean anything?
Well, that's-
13 MS access.
Okay, that's your hard drive, all right. Well, you know, I was just concerned about, she said she's overloaded, I wonder if that's got enough hard drive or RAM or whatever they need, I'm gonna, did you,
I
I'm
don't
sure
know
you
that much
spoke
about it, but as I understand it, that's far more than I would be needing quite a
with,
while.
you spoke with the representative about it
Yes.
anyways, right? I mean, you told him what you needed, that's what he come up with.
This is through Optimum,
Yeah, okay, fine,
and he'll do the whole setup and the transfer of information and training and so forth.
okay.
Didn't you just get a new computer a year, 2 years ago?
I got a program,
Okay, that's what
town clerk's program, but not a computer.
So we need a motion to approve the,
I would like your approval.
yes, motion to approve the purchase of the computer for the town clerk.
I'll make the motion, we approve the computer for the town clerk. It's already in the
second it.
budget.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Don, why don't you ask her about the opioid? You want that?
Pardon?
Want the opioid?
Yes.
we'll do something, we'll get some use out of it somewhere, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can use it in our office.
We're not gonna trade it in, that's not part of the
We
deal,
can
right?
use it in our office.
Yeah. She doesn't want to give it up, so. Any report from county legislators?
Not here.
Not here tonight. Reports from committees. I have a report from dog control officer for June of '98. Number of complaints, 31. Dogs picked up 8. Dogs released 5. Dogs on hand 4. Food, $38.76, supplies, $9.99, monthly mileage, $4.69, impounded fees collected, $20, adoption fees collected, $15. Respectfully submitted, Gail Callen. Okay. Anything from the assessors? No. Nothing from the historian. Planning board? Anything from the planning board? ZBA? Highway superintendent? Lynn? Step down, okay.
They're on vacation this week.
Mr. Lyman? Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back.
Did you use it in that morning at 6:30 in the morning?
Okay, this is a monthly statement of balances as of 6:30. Again, I'll talk about contractual. I'll start with the general fund. For those that have copies, where I have a check mark, I just have a brief comment. Justice clerk, both junior and senior, appears to be plenty of money left over as far as personal services are concerned. The rate of expenditure for the first six months is very low, so unless something happens in 2 offices, they should be fine. Bookkeeper, supervisor has $65 left. I've shown the town clerk with her additional $750 grant that she got this year. I assume that'll be spent this year. Return assessment court fees. Has anybody applied for state hearing officer since grievance day? Do you know of?
No.
Okay. Because if they do go before the state hearing officer, they pay a $25 fee, and if the hearing officer finds for them, then the town has to reimburse the applicant $25. Okay, everything else, page 1, line contingent, we're sitting at about $14.50. We got another 6 months to go. We'll see what happens as far as dipping into that. Fire code inspection, there's your appropriation for that, Bob. Okay? With Atlantic Inland. Let's see, nothing else, everything in general is where it should be. SARE grant on page 3. We basically have finished the SARE grant program for our historical records that we got last year. The total amount we received from the state is 7,995, I believe it is. We basically have finished the last payroll. I posted it today. There's a few dollars left in benefits, and we'll work those numbers out to the penny. We'll probably, since we didn't spend the money, we'll probably have to send some Social Security money. There's a conference. There's $53 in there for a conference. It'll be a small amount of money that we'll have to send back. Okay, capital project cost estimate, as I explained, we still have $2,000. It's up to the board if they want to get estimates on assault dome, emergency lighting, the hood for welding, oil water separator, and so forth. So that money is still sitting there. Benefit-wise, we'll get into the last 6 months and see how we make out as far as medical is concerned. In highway, we're fine. spend on road repair. We started to mow. Really, highway financing is exactly where it should be. We have everything is coming down exactly the way it should. Now we get into the good stuff. Sewer North, as of the last abstract, your account appropriations went to zero. So unless you find some more money from somewhere, and I've discussed it with the supervisor, you really can't pay any more bills.
We are proceeding with the ban in order to correct that situation.
Okay. As soon as you get that, then you need a board resolution or a board motion to
Yes.
appropriate it,
Yes.
stick it in a bank account, and then go.
It's north?
Yes.
The one with the pumps and all
The
that.
pump situation.
The pump situation is what's driven that rate to zero.
Okay.
Hannibal Street, just for the record, now Hannibal Street, all indebtedness has been paid off. We are going to have to get into repayment of interest, which was money borrowed for this year. We'll get into that in the 99 budget, plus the monies that was borrowed last year from the general fund. But right now, that capital projects account is zero.
Understood.
Okay. And so there.
Thank you. Lynn, you're back. Do you have anything for us?
I'll give you a rundown for last month. Apologize for running in and out. I had somebody over doing some warranty work tonight, and I had to keep checking on them. So, we did a lot of service and maintenance work. We had 3 radiators that were leaking. We just finally had some time to take care of them. We cut some trees on Pendergast County line. Had some washouts we repaired on Lakeshore and Wyburn roads. Been doing a lot of sealing on the roads with oil and stone, covering up any temporary patches we did and sealing cracks to try and keep the water out. Been sweeping the loose stone from the roads. We've removed or repaired 3 driveways last month. Picked up a roadkill dog and 1 deer. Been trimming brush and mowing roadsides, as Bob said. Conducted some safety training for the employees. In our John Deere tractor mower, we had to replace a clutch in that. Been doing some maintenance work on road signs. We've moved the voting machines over to the community center now. I attended the New York State Highway Superintendent School down at Ithaca. And for the month of June, we received 8 hours of community service work.
Thank you.
Lynn, while you're there, I don't know if you want to bring the board up, because Bob mentioned $2,000 in a particular fund. But Lynn's been working, and I've been working with a little bit, he's done 99% of the work though. That air system we're trying to put in over there to filter the trucks, you know, that thing with the...
Yeah, the ventilation system that we got from Cody.
Right.
We have the parts here now. Yes, it was donated. The parts are here, and the Terry Fogarty, who works for the company who sells these systems, volunteered some design work for us at no charge also. And we get some time later in the fall, we're going to try and put the system together and get it in operation.
That'll meet the OSHA requirements?
It should improve the quality of the air over there a lot. We're going to put a hood right over the welder too. That should help with the welding gases.
Thank you. Okay. Bob, you want to give her the lowdown on the code enforcement and zoning for us?
Well, we got Bryce Talents here. He can give the report.
Oh, sure.
Let's see, got one here. They do it.
This is quicker, Brace.
There it is.
Okay. For the month of June, which is again a busy month, it's been the busiest so far this year. Permits issued so for this month on 2 decks, 3 pools, a garage, 9 mobile or modular homes, 2 new scratch-built homes, 1 addition, a large storage building, 1 pool with a deck. Inspections were performed at various stages of construction for the outstanding permits. Several of the projects have been completed and their certificates of compliance or occupancy have been issued. For June, there's 20 permits issued. That makes 59 year to date. The fees collected for June was $1,210, and year to date fees have been $3,198.50. Construction costs in June were $479,377.50, which makes a year-to-date total of $1,157,850. That's $1 million worth of money dumped into Granby in improvements in 6 months.
Nice job, Grace.
Our youth director, Joyce, any words?
The summer youth program is underway. We have 15 events scheduled throughout various locations, both educational and recreational. The program begins tomorrow, July 9th, and runs through August 27th. Youth must be signed in for each event. Event sheets are available right here at the Granby Town Hall. There will be 1 bus per event, therefore seating is limited to 50 persons, so sign up early. Prior to signing in for events, youth must be registered and have ID cards to attend the events. The registration and ID cards are available free of charge right here at the Granby Town Hall. Thus far, we have registered 135 youths for ID cards. Buses for each event will be loaded and unloaded at the Granby Community Center. Youths must show their ID cards before getting on the bus at the community center. Our first and last event will be held at the Granby Community Center, County Route 8, Fulton. Space is not limited for these events, so everyone eligible is welcome to attend. For more information, you can call me, Joyce Forsythe, at 598-1352, or the Granby Town Hall, 598-6500. Any questions?
And tomorrow's the bike rodeo
Big day.
at 11 o'clock.
I'll be here at 10, yeah.
Now the fun begins.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any liaison reports? Councilor Anthony, any report? Vince?
Not really, I'm gonna work on that boiler. I've got to get a hold of John Baker.
Mr. Haggerty?
Nothing?
Mr. Polwitz?
None, other than July 14th, to be going down to Cortland to visit with Atlantic Inland. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a motion to approve payment of town bills as listed in abstract 7B-98 in the amount of $17,270.28.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of bills as listed on abstract 7B-98 in the amount of $17,270.28.
Okay,
I'll second that.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Next meeting is,
Next meeting,
it'll be August the 5th, right?
unless you want to try to have it earlier.
You said that happened.
And then August the 12th, the regular town board, right?
If I can get him to come in the 29th, you want to have it the 29th?
Of July?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going the week of the 20th. No, he means to see David
Hastings.
Hastings.
Oh.
Okay.
Instead of August 5th?
Okay, let me see if I can get him in here the 29th.
Okay.
Okay.
So 29th instead of the 5th?
Maybe.
Well, you'll have to let us know, right?
Yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow. How's that,
Or
folks?
the next day.
I'll leave a message in your boxes.
For August 5th.
And the regular meeting is scheduled for August 12th
Right.
at 7:30 p.m.
Still gonna have an August 5 meeting.
We'll keep that open till August 5, just in case.
Yeah,
And then we got 7/29 maybe, right?
yes.
Yeah, 29, that's on a Wednesday,
Be
right?
August 5th, August 12th, and July 29th.
Let me firm up that 29th date. I'll let you know definitely tomorrow. Okay. Okay, discussion from the floor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Fellows. I would like to thank Mr. Greco. A problem I had personally, where I came down here 2 or 3 times, waited for zoning officer during the hours he was supposed to be here, and he wasn't here. And I do thank you very much for, he was right on the phone. to leave a message with Nancy, to get a message to you that, you know, these are the hours they're supposed to be here. They're part-time employees. They only work a couple days a week. They should be available to us. And I did want to thank you for that.
I think that's been correct. I think our supervisors talked to the employees and they've got...
And I appreciate it very much. I do want to thank Rose Anthony. She abstained to the minutes of the meeting. I'm the one that opposed the minutes of the meeting. I didn't like what was written in regards to what I said, only because I don't recall mentioning anything about displeasure with any town officials about turning down Sampulia's town site, or job site plan, whatever it was. What I didn't like was what took place, okay? That was not in the minutes of the meeting. When I read the minutes of the meeting, it made it look like I come in and said I wasn't happy with some of the town officials because they turned down Sam's site plan. Well, you know, they made him spend $270 he didn't have to spend. They made him spend $270. And it's taken care of. Problem is resolved as far as I know. To date, the problem is resolved. My next question is, I have minutes of the planning board meeting where they made some motions. And this is a question, because I don't have the answer to this, so I'm asking a question.
Well, I don't know if this board can answer your question, which is directed to the planning board.
Yeah, you can.
But we'll see.
Okay. It's a yes or no. The planning board, and this is a copy of the minutes that I paid for, with the Freedom of Information Act, I've been filling out a lot of them, where they made several motions and they carried the motions over. What I wanted to know was if the town board had carried them over or what to adopt them into the town ordinance book. And I can only show you the copy that I've got here to see if this has been up in front of the board, because I've got 7 or 8 months of meetings for the town board meetings that I haven't read all of them yet.
What date is those minutes?
Those were done in February, where the motions were made and carried. Okay? I didn't know if they had been... See, my understanding is that the planning board makes the motion, they carry it, then they have to forward it on to you people to adopt it, to get it into the zoning ordinance book. Is that the correct procedure? This is a question.
Yes.
Okay. My question to the town board is, did you in fact bring any of those on the floor after February when they were passed by the planning board and adopt them into the book?
I guess I have to read it, you have to read it.
The only one we had with the signs, wasn't it? It was recently.
We took action on some question with regard to the signage. I believe you were here at that public hearing.
Yeah, I was here for the signage. I know about the signs.
With regard to motion made by Lyle Young, seconded by Jeff Rich, to add a note to the town of Granby density control schedule referencing the buffering requirements between industrial residential. This board has acted probably on none of this stuff.
Okay. That was just a question I wanted to know, if it was brought forward, if it was done by the board or passed by the board or whatever you people do.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily is required to be passed by this board.
All right, if it's adopted into the zoning ordinance book, okay, how long does it take to get into the book? Because the specific motion in here, number 4, pertains to a section 7, subparagraph B, that we had problems with. Okay? And if it's not in the book, how are we supposed to know? Brings me to my next question. Can the town board explain why there are 2 zoning ordinance books that both have the same date, that town officials have, and why they're different?
No.
These both have the same date, October the 9th. Both of them display different ordinances for the same, different definitions for the same ordinance. This particular book belongs to Rose Anthony. The chairman of the planning board, Jim Karasek, has the same copy. I spent $5 and bought a copy from Ruth. It's entirely different than theirs. Whose is right? Whose is right?
Well, you have to understand, we have acted on, we've had a public hearing and acted on one change to the zoning ordinance, okay? If that is the case, we will have to go through all our copies to ascertain which is the accurate document.
Both of these books, the last date they were both amended. October the 9th, 1996. Means they both should be the same. This particular book here says you have to advertise 10 days before, which is what we were told originally. This book here says you got to advertise 5. This book here says you go to the zoning officer or the building inspector. This one says you go to the zoning officer. As a lay person, we don't know. I do, only because I've been working on it for the last month. It's got to be straightened out, okay?
We got an old book, that's what happened.
But see,
With a new cover.
That's where you got, Mr. Richard, what was the last name again? I'm sorry, Jeff.
Fellows,
Mr. Fellows, you got an old book by accident. How you did?
this is a new book,
Well.
okay? This is Rose Anthony's book. Jim Karasek has the same copy of this book, okay? And they're different. Now, I know for a fact this is the true and accurate book, okay? Because this book matches the book that I bought personally myself from Ruth, all right? It's got to be straightened out only because I only found this out by accident. If they're floating around there and somebody says, well, here, take my zoning ordinance book. Don't go down and spend $5, and they go through and do all of this and it isn't right, get the old ones off the street, get rid of them, and get the new ones out. I've only seen town officials with different books than the people in the town buy. My other question is, if there's 2 different books for zoning ordinances, are there any other duplicate copies of books floating around here? One other thing. Obviously I didn't say anything. I have to agree with Rose Anthony. I'm not an assessor, but I have worked for an assessing company. I've done informal hearings. I've done reval. I have done data collection. I've done informal hearings. And for somebody that's only been in office for 6 months to even try and give a recommendation, it's not right.
I've only been in office for 6 months, too. He's only been in office for 6 months, so we should abstain from voting?
I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying that.
Thank you. Your 5 minutes are up, sir.
That's all I'm allowed?
Yep, that's the procedure. Anyone else from the floor? Mr. Best?
Good evening. I'll make sure I won't go over the 5 minutes for that. The question I have is, and I asked Clerk Ruth Sheldon if I can. Last month, June, I inquired about Mr. Holt's resignation. You told me the resignation was forwarded to you on the 27th of April. And was there an act by the board to appoint Mr. Holtz after the 2nd or 1st of June to the position of assessor?
Well, he withdrew his resignation.
That isn't the point. I asked in June, and in June, his resignation was in your hand.
Yes.
He gave you the 27th of April, right?
He gave it to me the 27th of April.
And when did we draw it?
Excuse me?
When did we draw it?
I'd have to look at the paper, but it was near the end of June.
Near the end of June?
Yeah.
Okay, the question I asked, and I presume you got legal counsel on it, was the fact that 30 days is the maximum on a resignation, except for court. I've been through it several times. The other question I asked is, did he get paid for June? Did Mr. Holt gets paid for June?
Yeah.
And did Mr. Holt sign the certification for the assessment rolls for July 1?
Yes, he did.
Well, town law says certain things, and I don't know. You know, I asked the question June 10th, because I was just inquiring about it. I don't know if you got legal counsel as to an opinion on that.
Yes, we did.
Did you?
Yes, we
And
did.
What, can you tell me what his opinion was?
His opinion was that what we did was legal. We discussed it with Mr. Hastings, who talked to the state.
The state, I would take and talk with the state if that's it. You got a letter from Mr. Hawthorne saying that? I guess you're...
I had a verbal discussion with Mr. Hawthorne.
No, you got an opinion of that on paper?
No, I had a verbal discussion.
Well, the point
with Mr.
I'm
Hawthorne.
making is that the assessor's office is the keystone of your town government here in terms of value, and also the school district and the county. And any challenges to the assessment roll could be done on the fact that you've got a person that was in place that wasn't official because of the 30-day deadline. I will pursue that myself, not to do anything Mr. Holt or anything like that. That's not the point. But I think the town government has a responsibility to citizens to take care of them kind of problems. And that part concerns me. I have one other comment I want to make, and I'll get out of here. Is I want to thank Mr. Polowitz for his insight in the youth program. And I also want to thank the young lady that has been working on it, because I see the results of it. And the increase in budget was justified because the results increased. The fact that you put a person there to administrate it shows it's justified. And after looking at the activities you got lined up, congratulations to you, and the town board for approving the concept. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Anyone else before? Mr. Boyd?
That was my father. Sam Puya. I'm kind of going along with Rosie, but in a different sense. We have an inexperienced person here with taxes, and I'm kind of like paying $275, $300 a week in property taxes, and I find an awful lot of flaws in them. Now, what would it take a budget here to bring in professionals immediately? Not next week, not hold a meeting in August, immediately, and reveal this whole community and get it taken care of once and for all. So there is no question, there is no doubt. And then you can worry about electing anybody or choosing who you would. But at least bring in some professionals here. They're worrying about cutting grass down in a swamp. And every one of these people are paying more taxes every day. For what? If you don't have a fair assessment for everyone here, something's wrong. And you do know the office is messed up. You do know you're handing over the territory to cripples again. You can't do that. You got to get something done. And it's got to be a lot stronger medicine at the moment is needed to correct this illness. And it should be fairness for everyone. And there's just a lot of, I can go on forever if you ask me about unfairness. But anyway, the unfairness that's going on in some of these deals with people and their properties in that, and it's just, none of it makes sense to me. And yet, we're dealing with a temporary helper. And then that gentleman, I didn't even know what he was going to talk about, is talking about maybe this other fellow, Holtz, who has been in the middle of this mud puddle, maybe wasn't even legal doing it, what he has been doing. I mean, let's kill the roach. Let's get somebody to work on this, find out what the budget is. You got to raise the taxes for 6 months, raise them. Let's get it done, but let's clean this mess up. Every night I go to sleep and next thing you know, it'll be January. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll tax them the following year. Let's get them on the rolls. And the first thing I would like to tell Mr. Talents, whoever the assessor is, I'll tell you this. Go over all the building permits for the last 4 years and hand them to that person and see if they're on the tax rolls for that amount of money and what's going on. That doesn't take a college education. That can be done in a matter of a day or two. There must be a lot of people that don't even know what their taxes are because they put up buildings or got building permits that nobody's seen. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Thank you.
Thank you.
You still got 2 minutes, Sam.
For what it cost me, I should spend the rest of the week here.
Anyone else?
I could stand to save a couple thousand a year on this one.
My name is Ed Winkworth again, and I've had the opportunity to serve on the grievance board for 10 years. And I just want you to know something, Sam, in fairness to this board. This isn't a problem that's just occurred in the last 6 months. This is a problem that's come over a 10-year period, okay? Somebody was asleep while they were stealing the chickens out of the hen house, okay? I want to commend this board for taking action to make an effort to try to resolve some things in this town that have been long past due. There's many times that permits, I know of people, and I know you do too, that just went ahead and didn't get a permit, and somebody turned the other way. So I commend this board for trying to make an effort to try to resolve some of these problems. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Can I respond to that?
No.
You had your five. You weren't here last week.
This is not a debate.
I wasn't trying to plan.
No, this isn't
the
a
President Administration.
Sam, this is not a debate.
I know, but remember I apologized last week. I'm not, or last month. I'm not blaming you, I'm saying let's correct it now. I'm not putting the blame in any direction. All right?
I'd like to see the town hire somebody from outside of the town, where
Or
there's
two
no...
or three somebodies for a month. Do it, hit it, clean it
That's what
up.
I'd like to see.
Let the band get playing.
Okay.
Anybody else have a speak?
Anyone else?
You can ask
Okay.
Mr. Fellows if he wants to speak.
Mr. Talens.
If I may throw a plug in, the Granby Clean Water Association is having their chicken barbecue Sunday. It's Thunder Island. All the members have tickets. They're available right now.
This isn't a paid announcement.
I told you I already got some.
Another shot of this.
You are bad. That's a commercial.
Like a motion to adjourn?
She did.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Take a shot.
We are adjourned.
In fact, I think I should.
Well,